Friends, welcome to all of you. Today, in fact, this is a new topic. This topic is about international payments. We'll be learning various methods that is normally adopted in international payments. When you do international trade and commerce, when you do any kind of international business, we have to make some payments, right? So those concepts we are going to learn. Basically, we'll be understanding how to convert currencies, one currency into different currencies. There are certain rules relating to that. We'll be understanding that rules. We might have to practice that conversion, practice some of the conversion exercises. Then only we'll be feeling confident that we'll be able to convert these currencies. Now, going to share the screen with you right now. Very quickly, we'll understand what is the meaning of international payment. Then we'll see various methods how to do it. So, as mentioned in the slide, you can also keep on reading with me. What is international payment? Is a business transaction. International payment is a business transaction between a buyer and seller that crosses international borders. So it's a business transaction, it's a payment transaction that crosses international border. And when it crosses the international border, and since different countries use different currencies, it involves definitely at least two currencies will be involved. At least two currencies. It may be more than two currencies also in certain situations. When money moves across the border into a new country, that money needs to be converted. Okay, suppose here our Indian currency needs to be moved or needs to be moved to British currency. Then we have to convert Indian currency into British currency. So we need to know what is the currencies which are dealt into different countries, so that one can convert one currency into another currency. This is the concept of international payment. So before making any payment, we have to convert one currency. Okay, right? Because the other person may accept your currency, may not accept your currency. If he is not accepting your currency, you need to convert it. So normally what happens, the other party may insist that he will receive payment in his own currency or maybe some other country's currencies also. Or sometimes they may ask, they may accept your own currency also. Okay, so that possibility is also there. So various methods of international payments are possible. So some of these points will be discussing in the latter in our subsequent classes. One of the method may be online payments. Directly you can make online by using let us say certain platforms like PayPal, Amazon payments, etc. Then through LC also international payments are possible. That concept, what is letter of credit, we'll be explaining after some time. Then international money order is one more way. Then wire transfer or swift transfer, that is also one more way of making international payments. Each of these method has got certain advantages and disadvantages that we'll be discussing in subsequent classes. But before knowing these methods, in fact, what we are going to understand is the basics of converting international codes. Only when we understand the code, then we'll be able to convert one currency into another currency. So we'll be understanding what is domestic currency, what is foreign currency first. Then what is exchange rate, direct code, indirect code, American term, European term, bid rate, ask rate, two-way code, spread, all these things, conversion methods will be learning. So if time permits, what is cross rate, straight rate, spot rate, forward rate, currency appreciation and depreciation will be learning. How appreciation and depreciation are computed, what is the swap points. Then we may understand again currency derivatives like forward rates, etc. Okay, right. So our plan is to learn all these things. So one by one, let us first cover. Now, first I'm showing you this chart. As you can see here, currency rate can be of, or you can say currency can be of two types. Can you read it here? What I'm talking about? How I can say currencies are of two types? Can you read it out?
Domestic currency and foreign currency.
Very good. It can be domestic currency and a foreign currency. Okay, we understand what is the meaning of domestic currency, what is the meaning of foreign currency. But today, let us understand in a different way. Okay, so maybe slightly different that the kind of understanding that you already have. What we call it as a domestic currency is the currency in which CFO reports company's performance to the stakeholders. Let us say CFO of the company, or let's say company's financial statement, company's balance sheet, which is prepared in one currency. We'll call that currency as our domestic currency. Okay, suppose a company Infosys balance sheet is finally prepared in Indian rupees. We'll call that Indian rupees the domestic currency. Okay, let us say Nalco's balance sheet is prepared in Indian rupees. You can say for Nalco, Indian rupee is the domestic currency. Okay, so we'll refer like this. It is referred to as home currency. The domestic currency can be also be referred to as home currency, and it is not necessarily Indian rupee. It can be dollar, it can be pound, it can be yen, it can be euro, it can be anything. Okay, if a business entity is preparing a financial statement in a particular currency, okay, the final financial statement to its stakeholders will be referring that currency as our what? Domestic currency or home currency. Is it clear? Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And all other
Yes,
currency,
sir.
and all other currency except that currency, all other currencies shall be referred to as foreign currency. So once we decide this is our domestic currency, any currency other than that domestic currency shall be referred to as foreign currency. So foreign currency can be dollar, can be pound, can be yen, can be euro, can be rupee, can be rand, can be anything. Okay, all other currencies can be referred to as foreign currency. And here, foreign currency in and within the country, when you are dealing business within the country, that means within the geographical boundary of the country, the currency is a medium of exchange. But when you talk about foreign currency, it is not only a medium of exchange, it has got a store value. That means it is treated like an asset. It has got a value and the value fluctuates, meaning it goes up, it may come down. Okay, so foreign currencies are treated just like an asset. Okay, when you call it is an asset, this foreign currency has a purchasing power. And sometimes it is greater, sometimes it is more than the domestic currency, sometimes it is less than the domestic currency also. Purchasing power of the foreign currency, sometimes it is more than the domestic currency, sometimes it is less than the domestic currency. And since this purchasing power of the currencies fluctuates, it affects the exchange rate. Okay, that exchange rate is in fact the price of that currency. So therefore, it is necessary for us to know what is the price of a foreign currency. First of all, the foreign currency's price keeps on fluctuating. Its purchasing power keeps on changing. And when you are involved in international trade, we need to know the prices of these currencies. And that price is referred to as exchange rate. Okay, once we know this is the price of a dollar, that means that is the exchange rate of dollar. Or if you know this is the price of the euro, meaning that's the exchange rate of euro. So this is the basic understanding I wanted all of us should have. Okay? Right, friends?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, let us once again try to understand the concept of exchange rate. Now, basically, we have already understood this. So I can say now, so what is exchange rate? It's the rate at which one currency is exchanged for another currency, or you can say one currency is bought and sold for another currency. Okay, suppose dollar is bought at a particular rate in exchange of rupee, we can say that is the exchange rate between dollar and rupee. So it's the rate at which one currency is exchanged, bought or sold for another currency. Or you can say the price of one currency viewed in relation to another currency. That means what is the price of dollar with reference to rupee is its exchange rate. Or what is the price of dollar with reference to euro, that is its exchange rate. So price of one currency viewed in relation to another currency can be referred to as exchange rates. Right? For any currency, there is an exchange rate for every other traded currency in the forex market. For any currency, for let us say for dollar, it has got a rate for every other currency. It has got a rate for rupee. It has got a rate for taka. It has got a rate for pound. It has got a rate for euro. It has got a rate for yen. For all other trading currency, it has got a rate. Okay, that is called as exchange. Fine. Now, friends, to just to make the process easy of understanding the foreign exchange code, so we have noted down or we have listed out certain rules. So as such, there is no defined rules to understand this thing. Only for our convenience, we have made certain rules. If you want, along with me, you can take down these rules only, so that it will be easier for us to understand uh, the conversion process. Now you see, what is rule 1? Can you read it? Some of you please read rule 1.
In any transaction involving forex, you are selling one currency and buying another.
That concept you have to remember. When you talk about any transaction involving foreign currency, right, you have to remember you are selling one currency and buying another currency. Normally, what happens in a normal market, normal anything, suppose you buy. Suppose I am buying this marker. If I say I am buying this marker, so you feel I am buying the marker. I am paying money and buying the marker. But in international market, what will happen? We'll understand that I am buying marker, but I am also selling this currency. I'm paying, if you are paying in Indian rupees, I'm selling that currency. Okay, in any transaction, I have to remember I'm buying something and selling something. For example, one more example I'm giving. Now you see, suppose I am buying $1. Okay, let us assume the value of $1 in terms of Indian rupees, 72 rupees. When I'm saying I'm buying dollar, that means I'm buying dollar. At the same time, I'm also selling 72 rupees. Okay, I'm selling 72 Indian rupees and buying $1. So in any transaction of foreign exchange, buying and selling transaction happens simultaneously. Okay, and the person who is selling me dollar, for him, he is buying Indian rupee and selling his dollar. So in any transaction, you have to remember that it is a buying as well as a selling transaction. Okay, this is how international transactions are different from domestic transactions. In domestic transaction, we buy a product or buy a service and pay a currency. But in international transaction, we simultaneously buy and sell currencies. Understood the first rule?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So rule 1 you have to remember. In any transaction involving forex, you are selling one currency and buying another. Now second rule, again very simple rule. This also you can write down. What is rule 2? Can you read it?
In any exchange rate, two currencies are involved.
That is called as pair. So when you talk about exchange rate, minimum two currencies are definitely. Okay, we buy something or sell something, two currencies are involved. That is called as the pair. That's a dollar rupee pair. Okay, the rupee pound pair. Okay, pound yen pair. So rates are expressed in terms of pair. So every transaction is expressed or every rate is expressed in terms of the pair. So that is called as a pairing. Okay. Understood second rule? When you
Yes,
say
sir.
currency pair, you can understand. Okay. Now, rate is generally in terms of first currency for the second currency. We'll understand that concept. When you say a rate, okay, suppose I will write it something like this. Just a minute. Suppose I will write it something like this. Can you see it here? Let us say I am writing SGD 5.2508 / KWB. Suppose I am writing here. Okay. Okay, are you getting? Are you seeing it here? Is it visible to you? SGD
Yes, sir.
5.2508 W / KWD. Okay, that means Singapore dollar 5.2508 per Kuwait dinar. So when I say in terms of the first currency for the second currency, that means again I read rate is generally in terms of first currency. That means what is the first currency?
Singapore.
Singapore dollar.
Singapore dollar. So rate is expressed in these terms for the second currency. For the second means what is the second currency? Kuwait dinar.
Kuwait.
Okay. That means this rate is for, if we are seeing a code, that means this is for Kuwait dinar. That means for one Kuwait dinar, you have to pay 5.2508 Singapore dollar. Okay. Understood? So rates are in terms of first currency, but rates are for the second currency. So this is rate is for what? It is for Kuwait dinar. So if you get in international market a quote like this, you have to understand that for one Kuwait dinar, you have to pay 5.2508 Singapore dollar. Okay, understood? Or it may be written like this,
Yes.
or it may be written like this: Singapore dollar by Kuwait dinar is equal to 5.2508. This is another way of expressing the same quote. This is also the first currency per unit of second currency. Meaning always you have to remember it is the second currency which is traded for the first currency. That means second currency which is bought and sold. Okay. Another way, let us say it is written here, rupees 62 per dollar, or you can take rupees 72 per dollar, or rupees 75 per dollar. That means for $1 you have to pay this much of rupees. Or this can be written rupees by dollar equal to 62. That means we are talking about the dollar price per unit of rupees. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this concept you have understood. It's a very simple thing to understand the international payment terms, to understand the codes. Right? So rate is all generally, I use the word generally in terms of first currency for the second currency. Okay, and few other points you have to remember. Normally, rates are not given beyond 4 decimals. So after decimal, you see 4 digits are there. 0.2508. Rates are not given beyond 4 decimals. Sometimes it is given in whole term, or sometimes in fraction. Okay, so it is a market. It's a market means it's like a jungle. Anybody can put in anything, but normally this is the style which is followed. There is no standardization in the jungle of international finance. Okay, so different countries may quote in their own style, but normally, or you can say generally, this is how quotes are expressed.
Sir,
Yes.
so there is no standardization in the jungle means?
That means you see, when you talk about, let us say something is like this. When you talk about the domestic market, it's a controlled market. There are some authorities to look at that market, to control that. When you talk about international market, there are various authorities, international financial markets we are talking about. So many rules are followed by convention, but there is no authority which can control. Okay, so that's what you can imagine. It is a kind of hypothetical situation you have to imagine. Then it's like a jungle rule. So if you cannot insist a country that you have to quote beyond up to 4 digits beyond decimal. You cannot insist it. He may say no, I will quote up to 2 digits. You have to accept that, right? So just like in jungle, there is no rule as such. Here also there is no defined rule. Okay, because it's a market. In market also, you see, do you visit markets? Do you often go to market? Have you ever visited any market? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You visit market. Okay, can you make a rule like this? Suppose you are asking for potato, how much is per kilo? So one shopkeeper may say it is 20 rupees. Okay, that is his way of saying. Another shopkeeper may say 3 kilo in 50 rupees. Okay. So the way they are expressing. So you may ask, let us say, what is the price of this vegetable? One may say per kilo this thing. Another vegetable seller may say that this much of rupees for 250 grams. So you have to understand by convention that who is by convention or by common sense. You have to using your common sense. You need to understand the quote that he is making. Is it not? Some product is saying means you need to understand he's talking about per 100 gram. And some products you have to understand he's talking about per kilo. Meaning again here you see there is no standardization. You cannot say everybody has to express the price per kilo. Can you make a rule like this?
No, sir.
No. So that is why market is like a jungle. To a large extent, many rules are not defined. Okay, you may say 20 rupees per kilo. Somebody may say 2.5 kilo in 50 rupees. You may say they're same, but the way they quote, they're different. Okay, so that's why I'm saying there is no standardization, because even if these are the general rule, there are some countries which are exceptions. They express their quotes in a different style. That's why they are exceptions. So we have to remember those exceptions also. Okay, friends. Now,
Yes.
let us understand one more concept. This is the concept of direct quote. What is direct quote? It is the direct quote expresses exchange rate as home currency per unit of foreign currency. That means if I am writing home currency per unit of foreign currency, that is called direct quote. Okay, or you can say number of home currency required to buy or sell 1 unit of foreign currency. Suppose we will be talking about our case. So we will be talking what is our home currency. What is your home currency?
Rupees.
Indian rupees. So, okay, so how much of home currency per unit of dollar? If I say per dollar, you have to pay 72 Indian rupees. So this is my direct quote. Or how much of Indian rupee I have to pay for 1 unit of pound? Or how much of Indian rupee for 1 unit of euro? If I make this kind of quotes, that is called as a direct quote. Why it is direct quote? Because directly I can understand. It is very convenient for me to understand this quote. Okay, but to know whether a quote is direct or not, first of all, I need to know what is my home currency. If home currency is involved and the quote expresses how much of home currency per unit of foreign currency, I can say that is my direct quote. Or you can say the number of home currency required to buy or sell 1 unit of foreign currency is the direct quote. In direct quote, price comes first and commodity next. Suppose here is a direct quote you see. Rupee by dollar is 62. So this is the price, this is the commodity. Commodity means this dollar is bought and sold. Is it not? Second currency is bought and sold. This dollar is bought and sold for Indian rupees. So dollar is bought and sold for Indian rupees of 62. So this dollar is commodity and this Indian rupee is the price. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in a direct quote, it's the foreign currency. Foreign currency is the commodity which is bought and sold. So what is foreign currency? Dollar. This is bought and sold for Indian rupees. And this is a direct quote. But when I say it is a direct quote, I'm saying it's a direct quote for me. Direct quote for Indian. But the same quote for an American, it is not a direct quote. For American, it is an indirect quote. So internationally, people normally prefer direct quote. Everybody prefers direct quote. Okay. Is it clear what is direct
Yes,
quote?
sir.
Now let us see what is indirect quote. Now this is our rule 4. What is indirect quote? It expresses exchange rate as foreign currency per unit of home currency. I'll show you first of all direct quote, home currency per unit of foreign currency. But you see indirect quote, foreign currency per unit of home currency. Okay, that is the number of foreign currency required to buy or sell for 1 unit of home currency. Suppose here I am writing $0.1601 per rupees. That means for 1 rupee, I have to pay this much of dollar, $0.0161. Or you can say dollar by rupee is equal to 0.0161. That what is bought and sold here is Indian rupee. You can say Indian rupee is the commodity and dollar is the price. Are you getting it? Dollar is the price and Indian rupee is the commodity. So what is traded here is Indian rupees. Okay, since I am an Indian, okay, I prepared my balance sheet in Indian rupees. So this is foreign currency per unit of home currency. Here you see this much of foreign currency per unit of home currency. Since it is foreign currency per unit of home currency, I will be referring this quote as indirect quote. And in indirect quote, commodity comes first. You see, this is commodity and price comes second. In indirect quote, it is the home currency. Home currency is a commodity which is bought and sold. It is a home currency. Rupee is getting bought and sold for dollar. So it's a direct quote for an Indian. So you can remember like this. If it is foreign by home, it is indirect quote. But if it is home by foreign, it is direct quote. Can you remember like this? Home by foreign.
Yes, sir.
That is rupees
Yeah.
72 per dollar. It is direct quote. But foreign by home, foreign by home means some dollar per unit of rupees. Can you get it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
tell
sir.
me. Direct quote or indirect quote?
Direct.
Direct quote. Why you are saying this is direct quote? Home by foreign and foreign by home?
Home currency by foreign currency.
Yes.
Home by foreign.
This is one. Okay, this is, you can say, commodity, which is bought and sold. Euro is bought and sold. This is the price. This is the price and this is the commodity. Okay, if I want to change it, let us say I want to make it euro by rupees. Euro by rupees, then I have to find it. So if rupee by euro is 85, the euro by rupee will be 1 divided by 85. With inverse of that thing, you can see it, how much it comes. Can you read it?
0.0176470
But we won't go beyond 4 digit convention, right? So 0117. Are you getting? So this is what? This is direct quote, indirect quote?
Indirect.
Indirect quote. Why it is indirect quote? This is foreign by home. This is foreign by home. Okay. Fine. You can find out.
Yes, sir.
Right. So once you know direct quote, what is direct, you can first of all now understand. Once you know, if your home currency is involved, then only you are finding it is here home currency is involved. It is indirect quote. Here also home currency is involved, direct quote. But home currency is not involved. If home currency is not involved, let us say I'll say something. Just a minute. Is it visible here? Yeah.
Yes,
Let
sir.
us say pound by dollar. Some hypothetical figure I am saying. I'm saying, is it direct quote or indirect quote? What does it mean? This is commodity, second, this is price. Okay. So any figure I'm taking. That means this dollar is bought and sold for this much of pound. Right.
Sir, for American country, it is indirect quote. And what is European country, it is direct quote.
Yeah. For us, we cannot say it is direct or indirect because home currency is not.
Not
Okay. So to know whether it is a direct quote or indirect quote, we have to understand that whether, first of all, we have to find out whether home currency is involved or not. If home currency is not involved, we cannot say it is direct quote. But once you know it is direct quote, it is very easy to convert into indirect quote. Or once you know indirect quote is given to us, that's also easy for get it converted into direct quote. How to convert it? Just take inverse of that. Okay. So if you are not convenient in a particular quote and you know your currency is involved, but still you are not convenient because it is indirect. But don't worry, you can get it converted into direct. It's possible or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah. Have a query? Tell me.
Yes. Sir, as we see that daily the value of rupee or dollar fell by or up by certain percentage. Sir, is it because only because of the demand and supply, or other factors are affecting the fluctuating value of our currency?
Okay, but I understand the question that currency rates are fluctuating. Why on daily basis it is fluctuating at every moment? The reason is that the question is that is it because of demand and supply or there are many other sources? Is that the question? Okay, you see, there are n number of sources, all so many sources that you cannot even list down. But ultimately, all these reasons contribute or create two forces which are demand and supply. You can say, if you look at the immediate reason, the closest reason is the demand and supply only. Okay, by monitoring these two forces, you can change the currency price or currency value. But there are various sources which support these demand forces and which support these supply sources. So when we'll be towards the end of this chapter, we'll be learning a concept which is called as the currency rate drivers. That means what are those factors? Okay, there also we will not be able to list out all the things, all the forces, but we'll be able to identify maybe around 10 reasons who we call as the currency rate drivers. That means they drive the currency. Okay, at that point we'll be discussing that. Okay. Now just one more concept before I close today's session. The rule fifth, just I would like to introduce you this thing. You already know this by this time. What is direct quote for one country is indirect quote for another country. That means what is direct quote in our example for India, that is indirect quote for UK, or what is direct quote for UK, that is indirect for India, right? So, for example, let us say 30 paisa per N is the direct quote for India, but it is an indirect quote for Japanese. Okay, the indirect quote is the reciprocal or opposite of direct quote. So, this is what we have understood today, the concept of direct quote, indirect quote, and reciprocal. This concept we have understood. Next class, we'll be again continuing from here. Okay, we'll continue some other concepts, how to convert all these things. We'll keep it for next class. Any other query you are having right now? Do you have any other query?
Sir, as we are trading in equities or commodity in certain platforms like Upstox, Zerodha, sir, can it be possible for us, like retail investors, can buy dollar or any kind of currency?
Yes, answer is yes. Retail buyer, we can participate in the retail market, and many of us do participate. Suppose, let us say, you will write an article in foreign journal, you might have to pay certain fee, you pay it, you buy dollar and you pay it, you make transfer online. That is also international payment. So let us say you are traveling abroad for study, you have to buy dollar. You can definitely buy. Or let us say you are going as a tourist, you have to buy dollar. So you are definitely as an individual, you can participate in the international retail market, the currency retail market. Answer is yes. Well, friends, thank you. We'll catch up with some other issues in our next class.